The upper class inherit a lot more than just money, and it's time we acknowledge this. In my previous video about how the elite gatekeep differently than everyone else, I said I would follow up on the idea of social reproduction by French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu. Well, the deeper I looked into this concept, the more questions I had. So what is social reproduction? To put it simply, it's the inheritance system among wealthy families that you can't see. Everybody knows wealth gets passed out. Rich parents leave money and assets for their children. But what Bourdieu revealed was that class position gets reproduced through far more subtle channels, and they're often hidden in plain sight. Let me give you an example. Two 8-year-olds get the same math homework. One child's parents are university graduates who themselves spent nights doing homework as kids with educated parents nearby, who helped them break down problems, encouraged questions, and modeled intellectual curiosity. The other child's parents work multiple jobs, maybe didn't even finish high school. Of course they want to help, but they don't have the same toolkit. They say things like, just focus, or try harder, not because they don't care, but because they were never modeled ways to make learning easier. The first child develops what Bourdieu calls scholastic dispositions, which truly deserves its own video, so if you want that, please like and follow. But basically, these kids develop confidence in asking questions, and a sense that intellectual work is for kids like them. They succeed not because they're objectively smarter, but because their home environment was pre-aligned with school culture. There's also a million examples where these kinds of things can compound, so don't be mistaken that this is the only case. And I know what you're thinking, what's wrong with this? Am I suggesting parents stop passing things down? Of course not. But the lie Bourdieu was exposing was that your outcomes reflect your abilities, that we live in a fair system. Bourdieu says no, your outcomes reflect not only your abilities, but also your family's cultural capital, your economic cushion, among so many other things. We don't live in a meritocracy, even though we largely believe that we do. And this is important to acknowledge for many reasons. But primarily, to believe that success is purely about merit, then failure feels like personal inadequacy. The working class kid who didn't have doctor-lawyer parents to guide them along the way, when they can't become doctors and lawyers, they're a failure, they didn't work hard enough, they're not smart enough. Listen, Bourdieu doesn't want to eliminate parent-child cultural transmission. What he wants is just to be honest, and to live in a society that works hard in exposing kids to cultural capital when they can't get it at home. Excellent public schools with museum trips, music programs, a true appreciation for the arts so it's not an afterthought. To reiterate, this isn't about tearing anyone down, but democratizing assets so working class kids can feel like they belong. I think there's so many other cases where social reproduction shows up and we only scratch the surface today. In future videos, I want to continue this conversation with more examples, so if you want that, please like and follow and let me know what you think in the comments.